Good evening, race fans, and welcome to round number 5 of the American Sim Racing Club Super Late Model Touring Series. We are here today at Bristol Motor Speedway, where we are going to see a 16-lap heat for the very first time in American Sim Racing Club history, as far as I'm concerned. But anyhow, my name is Mason Heimball with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here tonight, 1080p, 60 frames a second. Folks, I hope you all are excited and ready for the action here tonight as we get our qualifying started here for the race tonight at the half mile here at Bristol Motor Speedway. As we already have a couple drivers making their way around the track. We are currently looking at John Kane in the number 29 machine, making his way around the track at his point in time. We've already got a couple drivers that have set their best times here tonight. And as times are updating here on our screen here, Andrew Payne in the number 93 machine going to set it at the very tippy top with a 14.35 as his best time. Ron Hart in the 051 setting a 14.38. And Tommy Haynes in the 14.39 spot here tonight. Here is a few drivers making their way still around the track here tonight, folks. It has been quite a few interesting races here this past few races. It looks like most of our drivers have already completed their qualifying laps here very quick tonight, as we only have about 5 minutes allocated to qualifying itself. And here we're looking at the number 84 machine of Justin Vanderwood. Ooh, taking a little bit sideways down the back straightaway out of turn 2. Bringing the 84 machine down to a straight stop. Nick Fleury that we're looking on with now in the number 25 machine, coming into turn 3 and out of turn 4. Let's see where he's going to place himself on the timing tower for the very first time, up into second place as he works his way out of turn 2. Once again, down the back straightaway with a 14.38 as his best time. Let's see exactly how Nick Fleury is going to place himself in there. That's going to be the end of qualifying here today, as all of our drivers have completed their qualifying for today's race. And again, oops, that is the wrong layout that we want to be looking at here currently, as right now we have our starting grid for the heat race here today. The only heat race that we are going to be seeing here tonight. 16 laps in total for the first heat race. So Jason Griffith in the number 21 machine going to be starting in first place, with Jackson Lewis in the number 7 starting in second. Brian Wildison in third place with Charles Darling in fourth, rounding out your second row. Brett Hahn in fifth place with David Payton in sixth. Tommy Haynes in seventh. Ron Hart in eighth. Nick Fleury in ninth. Andrew Payne in 10th place. John Senu in 11th. Tim Rogers going to be in 12th place here today. Billy Thomas in 13th. Justin Callahan in 14th. John Kane in 15th. John DeMeester in 16th. Jerry Cochran in 17th. Justin Wood in 18th. And Blake Lothian. Blake, you're going to have to correct me on that one there, bud. But starting off in 20th place here, rounding out our field here, Tanner Tallarico showing in 19th, but he is not going to be in the race here today as per usual, as he is going to be overseeing the happenings of the race here today up there in the race control booth here today. But that is going to be the start of our grid for our only heat race here today. Now, they are doing things a little bit unorthodox. They are combining the lengths of both heat races into one. So instead of having two individual 8-lap heat races that we normally see, we are instead only going to see one heat race with both lengths combined. So 16 laps in total That could lead to some pretty interesting racing here for the starting lineup here. Going into the feature 75 laps that we are going to see here at Bristol Motor Speedway for the start of our feature race here today. But qualifying here is going to be a little bit more of an interesting subject. Jackson Lewis, as far as I'm understanding, well, being that we were all seeing the race last week at, seeing the race from last week, Jackson Lewis coming away with the win. As the pace truck comes down into pit road, and we are off with the green flag here. Jason Griffith, Charles Darling, both off to a very good start out of turn 2, down the back straightaway. Bristol here, very quick action that we are going to see here. And I expect to see these drivers really trying to give it their all here. And frankly, you have to be on your marks here at Bristol Motor Speedway, as Jason Griffith, the number 21 machine, very, very good work here. Right off the start, he's getting a pretty good groove here. That a lot of oh man, we got a driver already getting a little bit tangled up here down the back straightaway. It looks like the number 9, no, the 38 machine, David Payton, having a little bit of trouble there down the back straightaway. He's going to fall back quite a few positions, down into 13th place now. Down the back straightaway we go here once again, and already the backfield here already pretty well single file, but up here towards the front, we got a battle for third place between Brian Wildison and Brett Hahn. Brett Hahn, the current championship leader, pushing his way up here into the top 3 on the high side out of turn 2, down the front straightaway, seeing if he can get himself enough of a gap here. Not sure if that's going to be quite enough. 10 laps left to go here in this heat race. Charles Darling, Brett Hahn side by side. Brian Wildison, Ron Hart, you can see just barely. Oh, man. All of these drivers getting side by side, door to door, as close as they can. You can see Nick Fleury as well as Tommy Haynes getting as close as they reasonably can here. With 9 laps left to go, down the front straight into turn 1. Very good action that we're seeing here down on track. Let's ride on board for just a moment with Tommy Haynes in the number 17 machine, sitting in 7th place currently as we cross the line. That's going to bring us 7 laps left to go here at Bristol Motor Speedway for round number 5 of the American Sim Racing Club Super Late Model Touring Series. The 48 machine, Tim Rogers, able to get around Tommy Haynes there in that number 17 machine. Not exactly certain how that happened there, as we were riding on board with Tommy there for just a lap or so. But with only 5 laps left to go, this is going to determine our lineup here for the feature race. And frankly, this is also giving us kind of a great preview of how the feature is going to go. Oh, we got a couple drivers here going door to door, very close to one another, down into turn 1. They clean it up, and now we're working our way down the front straight once again. And still, we got a couple drivers here trying to do all that they can to get up the positions that they want to get here for the start of this race. Jason Griffith, the number 21 machine, off to a very excellent start here. Has been since the start of this heat race, leading in first. And looks like he might possibly come away with first place here. With only 2 laps left to go, the white flag comes out as we cross the line here at Bristol Motor Speedway for round number 5. Let's see exactly how this field is going to shake up here. Look at Brett Hahn down on the inside of the number 21 machine, coming out of turn 4. It's not going to be enough. Jason Griffith across the line for first place here at Bristol Motor Speedway for the lineup for the feature race. Brett Hahn in second, with Charles Darling taking third. Wow. You know, I kind of actually like those longer heat races. Yeah, especially for these smaller fields that we've kind of seen here and there. It really gives a really great opportunity for some great racing here for the drivers for the heat race. I mean, you know, qualifying is qualifying, right? You can't really dive too much into that, but you almost can kind of think of it as, I guess not necessarily, but I almost kind of like to think of it as the Formula One sprint races. I mean, it's almost one of those situations where you can have a very competitive kind of pre-race, quote unquote, that allows drivers to kind of get a feel for the track, get a feel for the racing, get a feel for their grooves, and apply that into the feature. Now, that doesn't always work. I'll give everyone that might be thinking that here at this time, but what I saw there, I mean, a 16-lap heat race, to basically set the line for the feature. We saw some pretty great racing there, folks. I mean, we saw some very good battles happening throughout that heat, and I mean, personally, throughout the seasons that we've covered here at Team Goon Squad, those 8 laps that we typically see here, I mean, usually that's enough. That's usually more than enough to be able to get through around the track and figure out where you're going to qualify. But I think in this situation where you only have less than 21 drivers, and we only have a few, 20, 18, however many drivers out on track that are able to make a 16-lap heat, I say go for it. I think that is some excellent racing to start off the night, and I think that going forward, I mean, again, I'm not the league admin. I'm not anyone that's calling the shots here at American Sim Racing Club, but personally up here in the booth, I think that was great. I hope the drivers agree. I hope that everyone looking in race control also thinks that that might be some great action going forward. We'll just have to keep an eye out. But right now we are going through some warm-up racing, getting our drivers allocated on the racetrack here once again, and getting themselves ready to go here for race number 5 of the American Sim Racing Club Super Late Model Touring Series here at Bristol Motor Speedway. We are going to take a quick commercial break up here in the booth, and when we come back, we will get started for race number 5. Stay tuned and don't go anywhere, and we will be back for more iRacing right here on Team Goon Squad. Welcome back, folks. Warm-up has finished here, it looks like, and we have our starting lineup available here for us today. If our timing wants to work for us here. All right, so it looks like we are going to have a couple technical difficulties up here in the booth at the moment, as our grid is not wanting to appear here. We are going to quickly work on that, but meanwhile, we're going to quickly run through this as we see it. Jason Griffith starting off in first, Brett Hahn in second, Charles Darling in third, Nick Fleury in fourth, Ron Hart in fifth, Tim Rogers in sixth, Tommy Haynes in seventh, Brian Wilderson in eighth, John Senu in ninth, Jackson Lewis in 10th, Andrew Payne gonna be in 11th, David Payton in 12th, Justin Callahan 13th, Billy Thomas 14th, John Kane 15th, Justin Wood 16th, Jerry Cotrin going to be 17th, John DeMeester 18th, and Blake Lothian going to be in 19th here. So, currently it says a minute something on your screen at the moment, but that is actually incorrect here, as we are going to get that fixed up here on your screens, as again, that is not the correct information that we want to be displaying here on our screens, but we're going to be rolling with it, taking it as it goes, as our timing and scoring gets itself updated here. Just give us a moment. All right, so as our timing and scoring updates here, we are back to green flag racing here. And there we go. We got it back on our screen here. Thank the iRacing gods, as Brett Hahn is back into first place here right off the rip. Into first. Jason Griffith, not sure what he can do here. Nick Fleury into the wall off the straightaway. A little bit of a bump there. Oh, man, a little bit of a wheel spin out of turn 2 there. Not sure exactly what happened for the number 25 machine of Nick Fleury, but here for lap number 3 of 75 here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Folks, this is going to be some high-speed action that we are going to see here. Tommy Haynes that we are locked on with currently in the number 17 machine. You can see the 051 of Ron Hart just on top. At the moment, you can see also as well, oh man, Brian Wilderson, the 951, the Rusties, 951. Coming out of turn 2 now, just in front of Ron Hart. A beautiful string of drivers here that we have at the moment. Great views that we have around the track at this point in time. And frankly, a lot of fast-paced action that we're going to see here throughout the race, as Brett Hahn currently the leader. Charles Darling that we're looking at duking it out with Tommy Haynes at this point in time. Coming across the checkered line, that's going to bring us lap 8 of 75. Couple drivers banging door to door here, just trying to keep an eye on all the action that we have here throughout the field, and frankly, it's all over the place. And let's ride on board for just a moment with Ron Hart, the 051, just behind Brian Wilderson and Charles Darling. Wilderson in that Rust-eze 051 machine, which frankly, if you haven't seen the first Cars movie, I am mighty ashamed of you. I'm just gonna say that. I'm just kidding. But frankly, I love to see, you know, a little bit of Pixar / Cars history coming out here on the track. You know, love to see that Rusty's. Anyway, point being, Ron Hart here, sitting in 8th place at the moment. Oh man, I love to see these guys just scraping this wall here. And sitting in with the drivers before the start of this race here, you know, they were talking about how well the setup was made for this car, for this track. And frankly, it's showing. These drivers are absolutely pushing it here at Bristol. And I really don't know how else to describe it other than just amazing. Fairly steady here at the beginning portion of this race, but really that's what you want to see here. Keeping calm, keeping steady, don't really want to make any too risky maneuvers. Looking right now with Justin Vanderwood, the 29 machine of John Kane down, well, was down on his inside there for just a moment. Now going to be just in front of that number 84 machine as we're starting to go single file here, a little bit down towards the back of the field. And frankly, a lot of our field is pretty single file. We're not seeing a whole, well, many drivers at all really trying to take that 2 wide, 3 wide action here unless they're trying to make that pass, which just behind John Senu that we're looking at currently, it looked like David Payton, or I believe it was Jackson Lewis actually. That number 7 machine just made a pass around David Payton, if I'm not mistaken, if I was looking at the correct driver there. But either way, either how, a lot of these guys here are going to be very, very calm here throughout this race. And frankly, lap 21 of 75 here at Bristol, staying green at this point in time. I'm very, very impressed at what I'm seeing, as you know, we're seeing a couple drivers here and there taking that 2 wide action, taking that door-to-door action here that we're seeing right now between Jackson Lewis and Billy Thomas, and just in front of them it's Andrew Payne and John Senu also doing the same here just a little bit. Billy Thomas at this moment here, he is kind of in a very, in a very worrisome spot indeed, as Jackson Lewis, and I was very, very worried about that exact thing happening there, as Billy Thomas, you know, he did everything he could to avoid that. You know, this is one of the things about sim racing that kind of, well, frankly, let's just say it kind of stinks. You can give yourself as much space, you can give yourself as much reasonable doubt as possible, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to how the servers, how everything just breaks everything down. And you know, Billy Thomas here, the number 9 machine, I don't think Billy did anything wrong. I truly, actually, let's verify that. Let's go back here and let's verify what happened here with Billy Thomas, and let's see, kind of, maybe, let's take a look. There you see Billy Thomas up on top of the number 7 machine of Jackson Lewis. And folks, let's back that up here one more time, and I want to take this into slow-mo just to give you a better idea of kind of what exactly is going on here. So we're coming out of turn 2 right now. You see the number 7 kind of coming in and out. This is just a nature of just being on the internet in general. It doesn't matter if you're on iRacing. It doesn't matter if you're playing Call of Duty. It doesn't matter if you're playing Arma. It doesn't matter if you're playing Fall Guys. It doesn't matter if you're playing Fortnite. It really doesn't matter. These kind of things, when you're playing on the internet, when you're using a service to enjoy a video game, to enjoy a simulation, these things are bound to happen. And this exactly is a perfect example of one of the kind of downfalls of that. So it's not a problem with Billy Thomas. It's not a problem with the number 7 machine. Let me actually find Jackson Lewis, excuse me. And frankly, it's not a problem really with iRacing in general. It's just the internet is the internet. It's not a perfect thing. It's always going to have its faults, and drivers unfortunately have to kind of put that into their minds as they're racing around the track. And Billy Thomas, unfortunately, is one of those drivers that was at the front of that. I mean, Billy Thomas, you know, he had Jackson Lewis down there on his inside, and when you start to have that driver, that car just start to appear and disappear and reappear, it really, you're guessing at that point. You are truly guessing at what you have to do next, because you're racing 150 miles an hour, 120, 100. Well, let's see. What's our top speeds here? Looks like 130 miles an hour. That could be a little bit incorrect here, as we're currently behind the pace car. But anyhow, you know, when you have a driver disappearing on you at any speed, you have to play a guessing game, and that's always difficult. But we are back to green flag racing here nonetheless, as we are blabbering away about the, well, mishaps that you can possibly have here with the iRacing service, and not necessarily the fault of iRacing itself. It's just how the internet works. But nonetheless, when things do go well and everything works well, you can find yourself in a very, very good position, as Brett Hahn has found himself in first place, leading this field, and frankly doing an incredible job here. But looking just behind them, Brian Wilderson, Ron Hart duking it out here going into turn 3. We got a little bit of action forming just behind those drivers between Andrew Pena, looks like John Senu. Lap 27 of 75 here. Not even halfway through this race here, folks, and this has been intense racing. I know we just had our first kind of restart here, but frankly, even if we didn't have that first caution, this is exactly what we would be seeing even before that. It has been this very close, very tense battles throughout the field that we have seen since the green flag is dropped here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And frankly, I love to see it. I hope everyone else at home has loved to see it here as well, as looks like I am going to eat my words, and the pace truck is going to come back out here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And I'm not exactly certain what happened here, so we're going to have to take a look back and see what exactly unfolded here as we get our replay spooled up. It looks like Jackson Lewis might have been involved. Oh, he indeed was involved in that one, riding the wall down the back straight, gets his right side tires up onto the wall and down into the bottom. That's going to bring the number 7 down into the pits and bring out our second caution here for the feature race here tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway. What an unfortunate way, too, to bring out the caution. I mean, that's just, we kind of caught it at a weird time, but man, tough. That is tough. That's really the only words that I have for that here. But Gonna bring out our second caution, and let's take a look at our field here at its current state. Brett Hahn in first place with Jason Griffith in second, Nick Fleury in third, Tommy Haynes in fourth place, Tim Rogers in fifth, and Charles Darling gonna take that sixth place spot here for this second restart of this race. And frankly, got to give it to Brett Hahn, a very, very solid contender here in this series, as well as, I mean, every other season that we've seen him in. I mean, that number 71 machine, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's got to do to be able to get himself up into the front. But that's not saying that Brett is the only driver here that is the only one that is capable of doing that. I mean, we've got Nick Fleury, we've got Charles Darling, we've got Andrew Payne. I mean, we've got Jason Griffith up here as well, the number 21 machine, who, frankly, we haven't had too much coverage here up here in the booth in the past few races or even the past few seasons. But it's great to see another contender up here competing with some of the drivers that we have seen week in, week out up here, competing for the top 3, top 5, top 10 spots. I mean, whatever you want to call it, it's frankly, it's great to see a healthy competition throughout the field. Regardless of whatever car you're driving, whatever league you're in, it's always great to have competition. It's always great to have that little bit of, all right, I got to worry about this guy this week, or I got to worry about this guy next week. It's always really great to see. But it looks like here, I do believe this is going to be our last time. Indeed it is. So it is going to be our last time around here before the pace truck makes its way back down into pit road. And we are back to green flag racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And here we go. The pace truck has made its way down into the pits, and we are back to green flag racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Looking back to the action here. Look at this field as they come out of turn 4. Andrew Payne, the number 93 machine, trying to get some action here, up in 9th place at this point in time with Downforce Sim Racing Development, the 93 machine. Going into turn 1, down on the inside of the 051 of Ron Hart, just behind Charles Darling. Oh, he gets a little bit of a slap job to the 88 machine of Charles Darling. That's going to bring out another caution here as Charles Darling takes a heck of a ride. You can see the lights on the ambulance machine. Charles, if you're seeing this, buddy, you might want to head on down over there to the ambulance and make sure you don't have a concussion from that one, as that was a heck of a ride. Let's take a look exactly at what unfolded here for the number 88 machine of Charles Darling as we get our replay unspooled here. Coming down the front straight across the checkered line into turn 1. A little bit of a tap there from the 93 of Andrew Payne. Another one from John Senu. Oh, man. It looks like, who was that? It was the 28 or the 82. It looks like the 82 of Jerry Cochran. Gets into the back end of Charles Darling and sends him flipping around here. Man, oh, man. What an interesting wreck. I mean, it's such a seemingly harmless, well, I don't want to say harmless, but it didn't look like it could have gotten any worse, but it certainly did. And for Charles Darling, that is definitely going to be some time down into the pits, I do have to believe, to get that number 88 machine back up to snuff. And taking a look here as he comes down into pits, definitely some damage Ooh, look at that rear end. Absolutely crumpled here as he comes down into his pit box and is going to get some of those beats and bangs worked out here as the rest of our field makes its way down behind the pace truck. Lap 32 of 75 here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Our third caution of the night. And frankly, some very, very intense and exciting racing that we have seen here the entire time. And Frank, I also got to give a shout out here. The number 21 machine of Jason Griffith has done phenomenal. Sitting in second place right now, he started the race in first place here, lap 33 of 75. I mean, sitting in second place, again, we haven't really covered too much of Jason Griffith in that number 21. I mean, we haven't really heard, at least here in the production booth, in the commentary booth, whatever you want to call it, I haven't heard of Jason Griffith here, but tonight he is making a statement here at Bristol, and I am excited. This is going to be quite fantastic to see here. I'm actually going to take a look here and see if I can find some other information here about Jason, excuse me. But either way, either how, great to see a lot of new drivers coming to the field, coming to the league in general, and taking part in what ASRC has to offer. Really great league, really great bunch of guys to be with and just hang out with. So, as our pace truck heads back down into the pits and we get ourselves ready for some more green flag racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway, the green flag drops. Brett Hahn doesn't take any time whatsoever getting on to the loud pedal. Jason Griffith, the number 21 machine, just trying to do all that he can here to keep up with that number 71 machine. But as we all know, if you have been tuning in with the action here for ASRC for the past, well, about a year now, you will know that Brett Hahn is quite the driver behind both the super late models as well as the modifieds. As right now, Tommy Haynes, Nick Fleury having a little bit of a battle here for third place. Nick Fleury sitting in that third place spot at the moment. Oh, Tommy Haynes sends him spinning out of turn 3, but only just barely, doesn't even bring out the caution as well. You know, that just goes to show it here, folks. Nick Fleury, incredible driver. There is not a lot of people that would be able to recover that from an incident like that. I mean, once you get that car into a spin, it is almost impossible to be able to get it out. So for the fact that Nick Fleury still sitting here in 9th place, still on the racetrack, still under green flag, it's impressive. Great to see here for Nick Fleury sitting in 10th place at this moment, as right as I say it, the caution comes out. Justin Vanderwood seems to be the driver involved here. Let's see if that actually turns out to be true here as we get our replay spooled up here. Looking at Justin Vanderwood, the number 84 machine, coming into turn 1. Let's back our camera angle up here. Yeah, there he goes down the back straightaway out of turn 2. Gets that rear end away from him. And I'm not sure if that's going to be the sole reason that we bring out the caution here, but either way, either how, that will be our 4th caution here of the race here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And, you know, frankly, not too surprising to see some drivers getting it a little bit too hot coming out of turns 2 and 4. Bristol, man, it's a really tough short track. It's really tough. You know, the back straightaway, you get really comfortable once you get into turn 3. You know, everything's feeling pretty groovy, pretty funky. And then coming out of turn 4, you really got to take it easy. You really have to pay attention to that back end. You got to make sure that you don't get too hot on that throttle. Otherwise, it's really tricky, folks. I mean, there's really no other way to describe it other than being in the sim or in the car yourself and just being able to hear what the car is doing, being able to feel the steering wheel, being able to understand what the car is doing. And it's truly phenomenal what the iRacing simulator is able to bring to average folks just like us at home. It's really great. I mean, if you enjoy sim racing, if you enjoy racing in general, if you enjoy just driving and just going fast, that adrenaline of taking it behind the wheel and going 120 miles an hour, iRacing has got it to a T. It's darn near perfect. It's great. If you haven't already got yourself into it, I highly suggest it. Get yourself into a league like the American Sim Racing Club. Get yourself in with a group of people that are like-minded and enjoy the sport and enjoy the passion of driving, of racing in general. It's phenomenal. It's, you know, not everyone shares the same passion, but when you do find a group of people that share it with you, well, it makes things a little bit more fun. And frankly, that is why we have leagues here like the American Sim Racing Club, among many, many, many others. So that is why we come here. That is why we broadcast these races week after week, for the passion of motorsport and for the passion of racing as a whole. And frankly, for the passion of winning. Who doesn't like to win? I like winning. Do you like winning? I know these guys like winning. Let's find out who's going to win here tonight as we go back to green flag racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Brett Hahn taking the lead here once again. Jason Griffith following in second place here. Tommy Haynes in third. Tim Rogers in fourth, with Brian Wildison following behind in fifth place. A nice single file string of drivers here as they work their way out of turn 2 down the back straightaway. Look at Andrew Payne here, trying to get himself a little bit of a groove here, coming into turn 3 and out of 4 down the back straight. Very good work trying to collect himself back up to the number 25 machine of Nick Fleury. That's the thing I really love about these short track ovals here, folks. You know, you can really push the limits here at these short tracks. You can really, really push yourselves. You know, if you're trying to catch up to the guy in front of you, you know, you can take that braking zone ahead of you and you can shorten it. Well, frankly, as much as you're comfortable. If you really got to get hot on that brake, if you really got to lock in, not necessarily lock it, but just push it. Really, really push it. Get on that brake. Really slow that car down as quickly as you can and as short as a span as possible. It works for some drivers. It's not easy, but it can work. And some of these drivers are definitely able to do that. Andrew Payne right now that I'm looking at is definitely one of those drivers that I think could work his way up here in, well, I don't want to say anything for certain, because this is a half a mile track. Anything could possibly happen, and it's a really, really tough call to make, to say, you know, oh, this driver's going to work his way up into the top 5. He's going to get up into the top 3. It's hard. It's too difficult to say. It's so many things can happen in a very, very short time frame. So we just have to keep looking here. We're on lap 48 of 75. We are just about to the 25 laps left to go here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And the action here is just stewing. Just a stewing away here, folks. It's just brewing away. and I just love to see it. Most of our field here up front, pretty well single file, pretty calm, pretty steady. I don't really expect to see anyone taking it too hot, too aggressive here. At this point, as 26 laps left to go comes across our screens at the very tippy top. Just taking a moment here to look at what our field is doing here. Currently on our screens, Brian Wilderson, that 951 machine. Following behind Tim Rogers here. You know, this is kind of what I expect to see a lot of. You know, drivers just staying on that tail end, staying on that bumper, staying in the draft, and utilizing that as much as they can and building that to the point where they can make a pass happen. Now, Bristol is kind of, it's a little weird. It's a little weird, right? You can make that pass on that low line pretty easily, but most drivers are going to be taking that low line as it's the fastest line here around Bristol. However, if you can get that speed built up, if you can get that momentum working with a draft, you can make that high line work for you and be able to make a pass here around the outside. But again, it takes work, it takes time, and you have to have the momentum there, and it doesn't always happen here. So with 21 laps left to go, it's frankly just a matter of who has got the steadiest pace here. And frankly, right now it looks like Brett Hahn has got the pace in the bag, as we're looking out from the roof camera of the 93 machine of Andrew Payne, and you can see just out front the 71 machine of Brett Hahn very, very quickly. Only for just a moment you can see Brett Hahn making his way around Bristol Motor Speedway with quite intensity. And right now you can see Andrew Payne starting to collect himself behind Nick Flory here in that number 25 machine. And folks, this is kind of what I was talking about a little bit earlier. You know, if you're aggressive, oh, right there, that's a perfect example. If you're really aggressive on these entries into these turns, if you get onto those brakes real hot, you can get yourself a really, really nice build-up to the guy in front of you. It doesn't always work. You have to be really careful about it. You know, you don't want to lock your tires up. You don't want to put yourself into the wall. But if you can if you can shorten that braking zone by 10, 15 feet, 20 feet even, that's going to help you significantly. That's going to shave off anywhere between, I'd probably say, a quarter to maybe at best a half a second between the guy in front of you. Anything's going to help. Anything to shave off that time difference between you and the guy ahead of you is always a big plus. But again, you have to be careful. You have to be mindful of how that can also kind of bite you in the rear. As we continue here with Brian Wilderson. Oh no, Ron Hart, the 051, gets a little bit of a smack into the wall. Going into turn 3 there, he gets a little bit of a taste of the wall, but recovers it very, very well. Lap 12. Oh, the oh man, let's ride on board here with the nose camera, well, really the roof camera of the 051 of Ron Hart here with 11 laps left to go. That was some very, very interesting action between those two drivers. I was expecting to see a little bit more between those two there for a moment, but they calmed down. They probably got a little startled after that, you know. Whether you're in sim, whether you're in the real race car, you know, once you get into another driver, once you feel that little bit of contact, you're kind of just like, oh, hi, hello, you're there, I see you now. Let's not, you know, end each other's races, and let's just have fun, eh? But 7 laps left to go here, folks, and like I said, you know, frankly, I don't think that any cautions would have really changed this race in any sort of way. I think we would have seen this kind of close, combative race that we've seen this whole time with only 6 laps left to go. It's just made it an even more exciting race here. As Brett Hahn still in the lead, he's taken away that gap quite significantly to almost about 1.5 seconds. But now Jason Griffith gonna be in the hot seat at this moment in 2nd place with Tim Rogers in 3rd. 5 laps left to go. The 21 machine is gonna have to keep it in check here. A great view here out of the back of the 21 machine of Jason Griffith. We get a look of Tim Rogers, Tommy Haynes, Ron Hart, Brian Wilderson, just to name a couple drivers here. 3 laps left to go. This race is going to be closing here very, very quickly. And frankly, this is the spot that I want to be locked on here with. You know, oh, no, that's not what we want to see here. A little bit of contact here between Brian Wilderson and Ron Hart. They are bumping door to door here, going into turn 3, out of turn 4. Across the checkered line, the white flag flies. It's the final lap here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Little bit of lap traffic here with the number 84 machine. Oh no, as we come across the checkered line, we got drivers going sideways. Oh, they took it 3 wide, and that is going to bring the end of our race here with quite a confusing end to our race. And that's ultimately going to give Brett Hahn the win here. Really didn't have a whole lot that he had to worry about, frankly, in that number 71 machine, but it's always, you know what, I don't even want to say that. I feel like it's offensive. But I feel like it's always the final lap. It's always coming across the checkered line that these things just come out. I don't know. It's fun to watch, but man, does it really just kind of toss up the final lineup. But anyhow, that's enough jibber jabber about the end of our race here, as Brett Hahn is going to burn it down here on the checkered line in that number 71 machine. And let's take a look at our post-race results. Brett Hahn, the number 71, again taking home 1st place. Jason Griffith in 2nd. Tim Rogers in 3rd, Tommy Haynes in 4th, Brian Wilderson in 5th, Ron Hart in 6th, David Payton in 7th, Nick Fleury in 8th, Andrew Payne gonna take it home in 9th place, Billy Thomas in 10th, John Senu in 11th, Justin Callahan in 12th, John DeMeester in 13th, Justin Wood in 14th, John Kane 15th, Jerry Cochran in 16th, Jackson Lewis in 17th, Charles Darling in 18th, and rounding out the field, Blake Lothian in 20th. So, that is going to round out our field here today, and we are going to go ahead and get started with our post-race interviews here today. And starting up first, it's going to be Tim Rogers in the number 48 machine here today. Let's go ahead and get him in here. Just one moment. There he is. Tim, sir, do you have a read?
I got you.
Tim, what a heck of a race it has been here tonight. I mean, really, it was quite a fast race that we had here tonight, but a lot of fast-paced action. I mean, Bristol is half-mile circuit, not really a whole lot of time that you get on that gas pedal to be able to get a whole lot of speed, so you're kind of really relying on your momentum going in and out of the turns. Tim, kind of walk me through your night here, and I mean, well, actually, I'm going to save that one for the end because that was kind of epic. But Tim, walk me through your night and kind of tell me what you experienced difficulty-wise here at Bristol.
I think the hardest thing was just trying to manage tires and keeping on the bottom and keeping that momentum, like you said. Honestly, the only way I love this setup. This setup was awesome. Usually on iRacing, top side is dominant at Bristol, but Tanner gave us a good setup, and you could really wrap the bottom here, and it was really racy. But biggest thing I learned from following Nick Fleury in the heat was you could sort of pass on the outside if you wanted to. So yeah, I just followed Nick Fleury up through the heat, and I got a good starting position for the main, and I just tried to replicate that in the main. I'm shocked at the result. I didn't, this is my first race back. I don't think I've done a super late model race since maybe like October, maybe the end of summer 2021. This is my first race back, and I'm honestly shocked at the result, but overall I thought it was a good race.
I was going to say, I don't think I've seen or heard Tim Rogers' name since last year, but again, it's really great to see whether it's new drivers or returning drivers coming back out here onto the track and giving some of our championship leaders as well as some of the drivers that have really been competing very well here kind of a run for their money, and just kind of reminding them like, hey, you aren't the only hot shot here in the league. But Tim, really great to have you here for the race here tonight at Bristol, and coming here tonight, taking home third place. Are you planning to come to next week's race?
Yeah, I'm gonna be fully back. I'm done with school. I'm done with everything like that. And I got way more free time, so I'm gonna be back full time here, and I'm glad to be back.
Absolutely. So, with that in mind, I'm actually really, really shocked to be saying this. We're heading to Daytona next week. What are your thoughts on that? Taking the super late models to Daytona, the International Speedway. Man, I kind of wish I would have looked into that beforehand before I mentioned that, but I'm kind of excited about it. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's definitely an oddball car track combination. I ran a couple practice laps there, and it's gonna be a wild one. I mean, we're running the short version of that road course, and let's just say there's a part of the track that's basically unfinished, and when you hit that part of the track, you have no idea where to go or what to do. So it's gonna be an interesting one next week, and I can't wait to race it. I love these oddball combinations.
I gotta say, I am a big fan, and that's just another thing I love about the iRacing service. We don't get to see super late models going on to the short road course here at Daytona, but here on the iRacing service it's possible. But with that out of the way here, Tim, and before we conclude our conversation here tonight, is there anyone at home, anyone in the broadcast, anyone in the pit crew that you want to shout out or thank for your win here tonight?
I just want to shout out the New York Rangers. They dominated the whole game, but they couldn't get it done there in overtime. But only the first game of the series. We'll be back. Carolina sucks. Yeah. Also, want to thank my fellow admins. All those guys put on a great show. It was sad I couldn't talk to them or hang out with them over the past couple months, but I'm back. So, no real sponsors on the car. This paint scheme replicates my real road car. So we brought out the old Dodge Charger to race at Bristol here. Bone stock. So we raced that. Just want to shout out MILF Plaza 2. I got a win for MILF Plaza at Talladega this Monday for the Sportsman Series. That's 2 in a row at Talladega for me, and for the ladies at MILF Plaza. That's all I got to say.
Absolutely. Well, whenever anyone asks if that's the turbo, you just tell them that's actually the AC, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, Tim, it was great to have you here in the booth, and well, really welcome back to joining us here with the American Sim Racing Club, and hopefully get to see that number 48 machine competing out here in the top 3 and hopefully get to see yourself back up here in the booth next week at Daytona.
Yep, thanks. And thank you. I always forget to thank the broadcasters. Thank you for broadcasting. I watched a couple of the broadcasts on my break. You did a good job broadcasting, and can't wait to watch this one.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Tim, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Take care.
Alrighty, folks, that is going to be Tim Rogers, the number 48 machine, out of the booth here, celebrating his 3rd place spot here tonight. Up next, Jason Griffith, taking it home in the number 21 machine. Jason, sir, do you have a read?
Yes, sir.
Jason, welcome to the booth, and frankly, welcome to 2nd place. And if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be your first podium of the season?
Yeah, I think so. I just signed up. I would think I've been in the league for a while. I just never run.
Well, sometimes that's all it takes. Maybe, you just take a back seat to racing, and all of a sudden you just pop in, and one day you're just like, hey, I'm actually kind of good at this.
Right. I wouldn't say I was bad, but I just took a break for a while. I had to take a break from iRacing for a little bit, and I just want to get back on it. So.
Absolutely. Well, Jason, it's really great to have you back here on the iRacing service, as well as back here with the American Sim Racing Club, and taking home a podium here in the race number 5 of the season. I kind of mentioned it a little bit in the broadcast. We really haven't covered too much of yourself throughout the times that we have covered the American Sim Racing Club races. So give me a little bit of information about yourself and kind of walk me through your time here at American Sim Racing Club.
Well, I've been iRacing for a long time. I was with the Salt Flat for many years. I know Roger Muth and Brett the Jet there. Raced with them many a times. I'm from Tennessee, as you can tell from the car, but I'm a huge Tennessee Volunteer fan, so there's nothing I love more doing than spend my Saturday watching Tennessee football.
Absolutely. Well, I love to hear it, and I love to see some new drivers. Well, not necessarily new, but I'd love to see some different drivers coming up here and competing in the top 3. But Jason, I want to congratulate you on your 2nd place finish here tonight. And before we let you go, is there anyone at home, anyone watching the broadcast, or anyone in the pit crew that you want to shout out or thank?
Yeah, my wife Kelly for sure for letting me sit in my iRacing rig and racing for 2 straight hours, and my mom and dad, and I tagged a few people into watching it. Usually I have about 6 to 10 people watch a race that I have a night. So whoever's watching that knows me, I appreciate them tuning in, and that's about it, buddy.
Absolutely. Well, Jason, I appreciate you coming here tonight and joining me here in the booth, and hopefully get to see you going forward in future races.
Absolutely, man. I hope to be here also.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us, and I see you next week.
Go Balls.
All right, folks. Jason Griffith, the number 21 machine, out of the booth here tonight, taking home 2nd place. Last, certainly not least, Brett the Jet Hahn, the number 71 machine, taking home the win here tonight for race number 5 here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Brett, you are currently the championship leader at this point in time, and taking race number 5. I'm not exactly certain how many races you've won this season so far, but given that, we're not exactly too unfamiliar with seeing that number 71 machine up here in the top 3, or let alone coming home with first. How are you feeling right now? How are you feeling so far in the season, given that we are just about halfway?
Yeah, Mason, feeling great with a win tonight. This is the 2nd win of the season, so definitely pumped up for the 71 crew here to park it back in victory lane. Bummer for Jackson getting in those incidents and whatnot. I want to see what he had to offer coming up through the field with him starting shotgun.
That was a big bummer.
Yeah, but not looking forward to starting shotgun on the road course next week. I'll say that much, at least here early. But overall, in the season, definitely pumped up with it. The points, actually, I lost the points lead after qualifying. I think Andrew just got me by a point with how much those qualifying points are worth. I need to work on the old qualifying for the 71 machine, because these last 2 weeks have not been a good look for qualifying, but luckily able to drive through the field tonight in that heat race, just come up behind Jason there. I tell you what, Jason was a man on a mission tonight. He had some great speed. Seemed like he burned off his tires just a little bit, but did a great job holding on to second, so super proud of him. I got to, of course, give Tim Rogers a shout-out, finishing third, and, of course, all the other competitors out here tonight. But, yeah, pumped up, Mason. Hopefully we can keep the streak going, as the road course racing is going to be wild, especially starting in the back next week.
Yeah, and speaking of which, this is going to be the first time that we are going to see some road course racing here with the American Sim Racing Club in general. And frankly, Brett, I'm a little bit biased. I'm not going to lie. I love me some road course racing, whether it's, with some cars that, well, frankly, aren't exactly designed to go on road courses. Brett, what I want to ask you here, how are you feeling about the road course, and what are you expecting for that race? I mean, we're only going to see 30 laps there, but it's a road course. I mean, I hate to say it, but we're not only going to see left turns, but we're going to see rights as well, and some pretty interesting ones at that.
Yeah, Mason, it's mostly right-hand turns at the configuration we're racing at. I think it's only one left-hand turn and about 5 right-handers, especially a super fast right-hander with a pit wall right to your left side. So if you mess up, you're smacking that pit wall pretty hard. So it's going to be a wild race. And I know Andrew Payne's pretty good at road courses. The last time me and him raced, it was a close battle. We almost made contact. Would have if I didn't get out of the way. So I might owe him one if I can get through the field. But it's going to be all about saving those rear tires, because these things are a monster on a road course. They do not like turning right. And especially with being all right-hand turns, these left rears are going to be fried by the end of it, Mason. So it's really going to come down to who can take care of their car, who can really drive these things almost like a dirt car, but this time sliding the left side of the car on out. It's going to be a wild one. I can't wait for it.
Oh, man, I am thrilled. I cannot wait. I mentioned with Tim Rogers at the beginning of his interview, I was like, oh, man, I wish I would have known that before the broadcast, because that would have been great information to know. But, I'm excited to see some road course racing here for the very first time here on the TGS channel with the American Sim Racing Club. But nonetheless, Brett, I want to congratulate you on taking home a win here for tonight for the race number 5. And frankly, really great race that you had here tonight. So hopefully we get to see that carrying forward into Daytona next week. But before we head out here tonight, is there anyone at home, in the broadcast, or in the pit crew that you want to shout out and thank before we go?
Oh yeah, Mason, the list is long like always. First and foremost, gotta give a shout out to you and Team Goon Squad, putting on an awesome broadcast. Can't wait to rewatch it. We had a great laugh at the last one, so I can't wait to see what nuggets we can find in this broadcast. Of course, on the car, we got QuickTime Motorsports Media. They do an awesome job with paint schemes. Be sure to check them out if you want your car to pop on any broadcast out there. Gotta give a shout out to teammates out here, RHU Racing. They do a heck of a job. Not quite the finish they want. We had Nick running in third for a while and got shuffled on back with a little bit of contact, so bummer for him. Of course, we got to give a shout out to Rogers Cars. They're back in business, recovered from bankruptcy, so they're giving me flying cars here. So I think that's what helped me get to in victory circle tonight. Of course, everyone here at ASRC, all the admins and all the league sponsors that make it happen. Of course, Downforce Sim Racing Club as well. As fans watching at home, got to give a shout out to Grammy and all the rest of my family, mom, dad. I think my brother's tuning on in, and of course all my friends tuning on in, checking it out. Glad we could be back in victory lane, celebrating another great one. And I think that's about it for me, Mason. So super pumped up, ready to go for it, but super glad to be in victory lane again. One spot better than last week, so we'll take it and celebrate it big time.
Absolutely. Well, crack open one for me as well when you make your way out of the pits here tonight. And Brett, I hope to see you next week at Daytona in the celebration as well.
Yep, Mason, hopefully for sure shooting for the broadcast like always. Top 3 are the goals every race, and when we can park in victory lane, even sweeter. So Mason, have a good one. We're pumped up over here.
Absolutely, Brett. Have a great night, and don't celebrate too hard.
You too, Mason.
All right, folks, that's going to be Brett the Jet Hahn, the number 71 machine, taking home the win here tonight here at Bristol Motor Speedway before we head into the very first road course race that we have covered here with the American Sim Racing Club and on Team Goon Squad. So that'll be very exciting, and make sure you get subscribed for that action. But that is going to conclude our action here tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway. My name is Mason Heimball with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here tonight. I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy the action that you saw here tonight, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already to stay tuned with all the action that we have here on Team Goon Squad. We've got plenty of racing to catch here with a lot of different leagues that, frankly, have a lot of great racing. So, get subscribed, hit that like button, and I will see you all next week. Same time, same place for the American Sim Racing Club Super Late Model Touring Series. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next week.